Hey guys, welcome to Gadget First. Today we're taking a look at Mantle versus DirectX 11 on Battlefield 4 multiplayer. I did a video yesterday on the single player performance differences between Mantle and DirectX 11, but I found the findings in multiplayer were actually a lot more interesting because the CPU has more stress on it due to it having to deal with the network when playing on multiplayer. And so Mantle actually has more of a benefit than it does in single player. So it's actually really interesting to see the increase in performance with Mantle on multiplayer. So let's take a look at some gameplay.
Okay, so here we are loading up Battlefield. This is the DirectX 11 version. I'm going to spawn down to point E here and just pop in there, and I'm going to go into the console and type in perf overlay.draw FPS 1. Now what that does is draws the FPS up here, so we get a nice recording of just how fast the game is running. And I'm not using that screen recorder. Basically the way I'm doing this is I have a laptop behind me just over here which is recording it, so I'm not affecting the performance of the PC here. So let's run down here, down towards point E, and we can see the FPS is around 100. And let's get a missile out and shoot at this. Goes down to about 85, 86 frames per second, but you know, everything is very smooth. You know, if you look up to the sky, you're getting maybe 140 FPS, which is pretty amazing. And if we shoot this construction site, it goes down to maybe 84, 85. So that's the performance you can expect with DirectX 11 on this system. So let's take a look at some Mantle now. So I'll go into the settings, and you can see here it's on DirectX 3D. I'm on Ultra, but without deferred anti-aliasing. So I'm going to go on to Mantle, save that, and now you do have to quit out of the game to apply these settings. Sorry if this video is a bit choppy. I mean, I'm using a really old, crappy laptop, but it's better than getting skewed results. I did try this before by screen recording here, but it's not consistent enough. So I'm going to spawn onto point E again, and I'm going to do the perf overlay.draw FPS 1. And as you can see at the moment we're at 145 frames per second, which is pretty amazing. And if we go up here, I'm just going to run up here to the same point that I was at just a minute ago, and you can see the FPS is a lot higher. I was getting about 100 FPS at this point, and now I'm getting about 120, 130. If I look over to here, you know, there's not much difference because I think we're maxing out the GPU when we look over here, because I was getting about 140 FPS here on both APIs. So let's go and shoot a missile at this. We were at about 100 FPS here on DirectX 11. We're getting about 115, 120 maybe on Mantle, so a massive increase. If we shoot this, goes down to about 90, then straight back up over 100 again. It went down to about 80, 85 on DirectX 11, so this is some real performance increase. Amazing performance increase on online. And if we shoot this down to, I saw it drop to 74, but it's 90, went down to about 94. So this is looking massively impressive. And so what this means, this extra boost means before I wouldn't have been able to do anti-aliasing to third without going sometimes below 60 frames per second. Now if I turn this on to 4 times, so this is the absolute highest settings Battlefield can do, and then you go, I'm still at 80 frames per second, which is amazing. If we shoot that, it goes down to 69, but you know, who's moaning at 69 frames per second? It's still really amazing. And I've just broken the keyboard. There we go, back to normal. I'm beyond impressed with this. It seems bloody amazing. You know, you're looking at least a 20% performance increase, and this isn't a weak CPU. This is a i5 2500K at 4.5 gigahertz. So this is quite a fast CPU. It's not really to be sniffed at. It's not the fastest, but you know, it's what I can get my hands on. And this is truly impressive. I'm running an HD7950, and getting these kind of frame rates is unbelievable from a card that will be 2 years old soon. No, 3 years almost. So this is amazing performance from AMD Mantle. So yeah, and there's more to come. This graphics card isn't officially recognised as being optimised to Mantle yet. So you know, if you've got a 290, 290X or a 260X or one of the new AMD APUs, you're going to get even bigger performance increases. So this is really, really impressive stuff from AMD. So I'm going to exit the game now and stop the recording, and we'll get back to you with a conclusion.
So those are some really, really encouraging results. As you can see, at the spawn point, DirectX 11 was getting 107 frames per second, Mantle was getting 138. That's an increase of 22%. Sky, where I was just looking at the Sky, 140 on DirectX 11 and 147 on Mantle, which is only a 5% increase, but you know, we were reaching the limits of what the GPU could do there. It wasn't really down to the processor. When I shot the missile at the light armored vehicle, it was 80 frames per second on DirectX and 91 on Mantle, which is a 12% increase. Very impressive. When I was looking at the construction site on DirectX, it was 98, and on Mantle 119, which is an increase of 18%. So the average, if you average that out, you get a 14% increase in performance on average with Mantle in Battlefield 4 multiplayer, which is huge. I mean, people pay hundreds of pounds or hundreds of dollars for a 15% increase when they want a new graphics card. You know, a 15% increase in performance for a graphics card is going to cost more than 15% of the cost of the graphics card. So this really is adding a lot of value to AMD graphics cards. It could be argued that NVIDIA graphics cards could eventually support Mantle. I can't see that happening, but if they do, then it's not only an AMD thing. As I've said plenty of times in the last video and this video, my HD7950, which I was using in this video, isn't even fully optimized for Battlefield 4 yet with Mantle. So if you have a 290X, 290 or 260X, which are the three cards that are really optimized for Mantle, you're going to see even bigger performance increases. I'll have another video out if there's a big difference between the results now and when the HD7950 is optimized for Mantle, but until then I'll try and get my hands on a 290 or 290X. I think I can possibly get my hands on a 290, so that'll be handy. But an average percent increase of 14% is amazing, and you know, the weaker your CPU, if you have a slightly weak CPU and a better graphics card, you know, you're going to be even more you're going to find this even more beneficial. So it's really, really, really interesting. So keep an eye out for AMD Mantle, and make sure you consider AMD graphics cards. Obviously, you know, people are still going to buy NVIDIA graphics cards. This is by no means the only feature that people look out for. So NVIDIA is still a good choice, but you know, if you know you're going to be playing games that support Mantle, you know, maybe give AMD another look, because it's certainly a big killer feature. And another thing is that I don't feel like I'm going to have to upgrade my processor anytime soon. I mean, the i5 2500K came out in 2011, and I mean, I'm getting the full benefit of my GPU from this 3-year-old CPU. So I don't even feel the need to upgrade to a 4770 or a 4670. I just don't feel the need to. Obviously, if you're buying a new PC, go ahead, get a new i5 or i7. But you know, Mantle, the real big benefit I can see from it is people won't have to upgrade their CPUs nearly as much. It used to be an 18-month, every 2-year kind of thing for me, but now I don't feel like I need to upgrade this 2500K for a number of years. It's pretty amazing.